everyone, welcome to another video. As always, my name is Jay, and once again, this is part 2 of my in-depth review of the new Waaagh Ghazghkull Orks Codex supplement that just came out recently. I know I'm a little late, but I ordered it the day, like a week before it came out. It just took this long to get it. But it's all good. I'm happy. I really like it. And I think it's going to be really fun to combine this with the Orks Codex. As I said, I got to pick up some Gretchen. Just paint up a bunch of Gretchen and have like 5 min squads of Gretchen. And then the rest will be my theme. Like 5 Big Macs with custom force fields, 1 with a super custom force field, and all heavy walkers, and that'll be fun. I'm starting to feel like I'm going crazy with my hand movements, but it's okay. So in the previous video I covered, you know, the new force organization for the supplement, the new warlord traits, the new rules. The new rules, as I mentioned, they really do favor either min squads, which you don't care about anymore, because the new rules, yeah, you're just going to run away anyway, or giant squads. Nothing really in between. So, or Gretchen. It'll be all good. So in this video, I'm going to cover the formation data sheets and the new scenarios that are in this codex. They're quite interesting. I should definitely try them out in battle reports. I think they'd be great. So without further ado, let's get to the formations. The first formation is called the Council of Waaagh. It has Ghazghkull Orks, Mandok Grutsnik, 2 war bosses, a Big Mac, and a unit of knobs. Wow. That's pretty crazy. That's a good starting of an army right there. Restrictions: knobs unit must be equipped with a Waaagh banner. Makes sense. And they get a boss mob. All models in the formation must be deployed as a single unit. Models with the independent character special rule cannot choose to leave or join the unit. Banner of the Great Waaagh. As long as the bearer of the Waaagh banner is still alive, all models in the unit have the Fearless special rule, which is awesome. Orcs with Fearless special rule, can't go wrong there. And add 1 to the weapon skill, with that, which is the usual Waaagh banner. In addition, all friendly units within 12 inches from the Orcs faction reroll failed morale and pinning checks. That's great. So once again, your Orcs are leadership 7, even the min squads of boys. That gives them a good chance, like 2/3 chance, 3/4 chance of passing a dice roll. That's great. Ghazghkull's lieutenants. Both of the Orc war bosses in the formation have a +1 weapon skill on their profile, plus the weapon skill of the other guy. So that's 2 plus, you know, that's great. Furthermore, at the start of each battle before deployment, make 2 rolls on the Waaagh Ghazghkull Warlord trait, rerolling duplicates, and apply both to Ghazghkull Orks in addition to his standard Warlord trait. That's great. So he gets a bunch of Warlord traits. Cool formation. Next one, Ghazghkull's Bully Boys. It's just 3 squads of Mega Knobs, and each one must include at least 5 models. So that's pretty simple. 3 units of 5 Mega Knobs is Ghazghkull's Bully Boys. So in other words, they really want to sell those Mega Knobs. They look cool. I love the kits. And they had 1 to their weapon skill. So frankly, that's not really a... yeah. It's a math formation. It'd be cool, but you gotta buy it. So it's a bonus. If you want to bring 3 squads of Mega Knobs, you get a bonus to their weapon skill, which is cool. You know? Up next, Devolcha Squad, which is, of course, Boss Eggstruck, and 3 units of Storm Boys, restrictions none. And you get on... I love these things. I love these rules. They're just amazing. I love the name. First one's called Dead on Target-ish. All units in formation begin in the game reserves. They must arrive via Deep Strike, but they only Deep Strike. They only move up to 1d6 when arriving. There's Art Itters, and Wrath attacks made by a Storm Boy model in this unit, joined by Boss Eggstruck, gain Shred. So they get to reroll their to wound, as long as he's part of the unit. And Vulture Squad, before deployment, the controlling player can choose to form Boss Eggstruck and all the units of Storm Boys in this formation into a single unit. So 3 squads of Storm Boys. So you can put 90 Storm Boys in a single unit. Those the Vulture Squad. So Eggstruck cannot leave this unit. The Vulture Squad counts as 3 units for victory point purposes. That would be hilarious. Now the only problem though would be, like, if you're deep striking 90 boys without mishapping, good luck. It'd be kind of fun. The Blitz Brigade is up next, and it's 5 battle wagons. 5. Restrictions: each battle wagon in the formation must be upgraded with either a reinforced ram or death roller. And it's kind of weird. It has the special rule is know your limits. Infantry units that begin the game embarked upon a battle wagon from this formation cannot charge on the first turn in the battle wagon made. A scout point. They get scout. Oh, that makes sense. They get a scout for being in this formation. Because otherwise there'd be no bonus. Scout's nice. It moves up your boys. So next turn they can move up and it gets them closer. Unfortunately, they can't assault. If they could assault, that would be amazing. I would love that. Up next is my favorite formation, the Dread Mob. A big mech, a pain boy, 2 Gorgonauts or Morgonauts in any combination, 3 Death Dreads, and 3 units of Killigans. I almost have that already. Restrictions: all units of Killigans must include 3 models. We must include 3 models. Alright? At least 3? I don't know. They get Here We Go. If every model in the unit has special rule, they reroll dice when determining charge range. And Wall of Steel. All models in formation will their Hammer Wrath do D3 hits instead of 1. Not bad. Again, I'd take it for fun anyway. It'd be a good themed list, and it's a bonus. You know, it's not bad. Boss Nikrot's Red Skull Commandos has Boss Nikrot and 4 units of Commandos. And you get a few cool special rules. First one's called Sneaky Gets. Boss Nikrot must join one of the units in his formation, and the whole formation must be held back in reserves. When rolling for reserves, make a single reserve roll for all units in this formation. All units in this formation move on any table edge when they arrive from reserves. But they must all enter from the same table edge. No dice rolls required. So basically they form into one giant squad and all move on at the same time. This would be awesome. In an apocalypse game, this would be so much fun. Furthermore, on the turn they arrive, whichever turn it is, any unit in this formation that does not shoot in the shooting phase can reroll its failed cover saves until the start of its next turn. That's great. Cool. And Strike from the Shadows. All units in formation have their stealth special rule replaced with Shrouded, which is great in the turn they come in, which is why it's important with the Sneaky Gets. So if you choose not to shoot, you get a rerolled Shrouded cover save. That's pretty sweet. And of course, the Green Tide, 1 war boss, 10 units of boys. The entire formation must fight on foot. No dedicated transports can be taken as upgrades, and the war boss cannot be equipped with a war bike. Yet the Green Tide, all of the units of boys and the war boss form a single unit. Notice the Green Tide. This is pretty much the same one as before. They have Waaagh Horde and Stampede. If the formation's war boss is your warlord, he can choose the Waaagh special rule each and every turn after the first. So he can Waaagh every turn. That's awesome to us. That's great. So that's cool stuff. So those are formations. Again, not and Rubik has a ball. So that's cool. And now there are missions, and there's 2 different types of missions for the Codex, and all of them actually look really interesting. I think they're cool. I should definitely try them out in future battle reports. I think they'd be really fun. There are 3 Altar of War missions and 3 Echoes of War missions, and they're different. The 3 Altar War missions illustrate the different sorts of strategies used by the Waaagh, Ghazghkull, and provide new tests and tactical ability as a commander. And they're cool. And then the Altar of War missions are just for the rules. Echoes of War missions, sorry. There's also Echo War missions inspired by the battles fought by Waaagh, Ghazghkull. And they're, yeah, just similar. So, okay, we'll go through each one of them one by one. So the first one is called Altar of War, called Might Makes Right. And it is, the deployment's type is Hammer and Anvil. And, yep. You can see his initiative, game length is variable. The primary objectives are at the end of each turn, each player receives 1 victory point for each enemy unit that has been completely destroyed. That's cool. And enemies that count as falling back are not on the board at the end of the game, count as destroyed for purposes of the mission. Also, you get, every time you slay an enemy character challenge, you get another victory point. Every time you slay an enemy independent character, you get 2. And if you slay a warlord in a challenge, you instead get 3. And if your warlord slays the opponent's warlord in a challenge, you get 5. And first, you know, the person with the highest points at the end of the game wins. Cool stuff. That'd be fun to try out. Next one is called Ultra War. Waaagh. Objective markers. This is normal Dawn of War deployment. After setting up terrain, the enemy places 3 objective markers anywhere within his deployment zone. So the enemy of the orcs. No objectives can be placed within 6 inches of the battlefield or 12 inches from each other. Normal game length. Victory conditions. Prime objectives at the end of the game. Each objective marker is worth 3 points. There's also First Blood, Linebreaker, Slay the Warlord. Mysterious objectives, Night Fighting Reserves are also in. Sustained attack. Each time a unit of Orc boys from the Waaagh Ghazghkull player's army is completely destroyed, remove it from play and place into ongoing reserves. So it has the old rule from the Tyranids used to have with Termagants. Very cool stuff. And they come on at the next turn. Nice. I love it. That's cool. That'd be fun to try out. Especially with like 15 squads of min squads of boys. They just die and come right back on. Of course, if your opponent was smart knowing the rules, he'd place all the objectives in his zone. So that way the orcs have a long time to get. But it'd be kind of fun to just recycle all these guys. So that'd be fun to try out. Next one is called Ultra War Cunning Plan. Cunning Plan. There are 3 objective markers. The player takes it in turns, a total of 3 objective markers anywhere on the battlefield. No objective can be placed within 6 inches of any battlefield or edge. Once again, it's Dawn of War deployment. The prime objective at the end of the game, each objective marker is worth 3 victory points. The player controls it. First Blood, Linebreaker, Slay the Warlord. Mysterious objectives, Night Terrain, Reserves. Teleporter Strike. Before deployment, the Waaagh Ghazghkull player rolls a d6 for each unit within the Orcs faction, adding +1 if their units are troops. On a 6-up, they get to be Deep Struck. Interesting. Ghazghkull player's army includes the Great Waaagh detachment. All units from the detachment receive a +1 as well. So that's great. So you have deep striking orcs. Very cool stuff. And now these ones are called Echoes of War, and they're more of a story. You know, I think they'll be quite interesting to try out in battle, and maybe instead of battle reports. These would be really cool to try out. So I got to get some. I got to get some models together and get some battle reports going with these. First one's called Uniting the Clans. So Echoes of War, Uniting the Clans. The Waaagh Ghazghkull player has to include Ghazghkull Thraka for this. And you cannot include no more than 3 orc vehicles of any kind in this army. Ooh, that would suck for my usual can walker list. None of that counts. I will see. Must include an orc war. The enemy player must include an orc war boss in his army to be his warlord, representing Snazdaka. The enemy player must include at least 5 orc vehicles, which with 1 or more of the following unit types: fast transport and flyer. In addition, he may upgrade each of the vehicles with options worth up to 25 points for free. Any additional options he chooses to take must be paid for as normal. It's normal Dawn of War. And victory conditions. At the end of the game, the player who has scored the most victory points wins the game. If a player has the same number of victory points, the game is a draw. Primary objectives. At the end of the game, each player receives 1 victory point for each enemy unit that has been completely destroyed. However, for each enemy vehicle that he has completely destroyed, the Waaagh Ghazghkull player receives 2 victory points. Cool. Instead. First Blood, Linebreaker, Slay the Warlord exist. If Ghazghkull slays Snazdaka in a challenge, or Snazdaka slays Ghazghkull in a challenge, the game ends immediately. The controlling player of the victorious warlord wins the game automatically. That's really cool. Now, Ghazghkull should probably kill a warlord. Actually, they'd probably kill each other, now that I think about it. Well, Ghazghkull would instant kill a warlord, because it'd be strength 10 versus toughness 5. But I think Ghazghkull's toughness 5 too. Do they just kill each other? That's a really good question. Is Ghazghkull Thraka? Oh, Ghazghkull has Eternal Warrior. Never mind, but he couldn't get through his armor. Wow, that'd be an interesting situation. Game ends to be a draw. Cool stuff. That's a cool stuff. Ghazghkull's Goth Horde. Each time a unit of boys belonging to the Ghazghkull player is completely destroyed, remove from play and place in ongoing reserves. So it's the same thing as before. They keep coming on, coming on. Smokescreen, the rules for night fighting are in effect for the entire battle. Whole battle, night fighting. That would be a fun game to try out. See, these are cool. These are giving me ideas for campaigns and stuff. Ooh, that's really cool. Up next we have the Second War for Armageddon, the Fall of High Volcanicus. Volcanus. Hammer and Anvil deployment. 3 objectives. Each one's worth 3 points at the end of the game. And the special rules are Anuva Wave. Each time a battle wagon from the Blitz Brigade. So one's the Waaagh Ghazghkull player must include a Blitz Brigade formation. So 5 battle wagons. Alright, maybe I won't be trying out this one anytime soon, but we'll see. Each time a battle wagon from the Blitz Brigade formation is completely destroyed, the Waaagh Ghazghkull player can add a unit of 10 to 12 boys or a burn of boys in a truck in ongoing reserves. This unit will arrive at the beginning of the Waaagh player's next turn. That's awesome! I love it. This is so creative and interesting. And finally, the last one is called War of Piscina 4. In which, once again, the battlefield is interesting. The enemy player can place any number of fortifications anywhere on the table. He does not pay any points for these fortifications, and none start the game dilapidated. Okay, deployment. Before any models are deployed, the enemy player should roll to determine his warlord trait. Yeah. The enemy player deploys his force anywhere on the battlefield. He can, however, deploy any number of units in reserve, but must, whenever possible, deploy at least 1 unit for each building or gun emplacement that he places on the battlefield. So they can be placed anywhere. Okay. All the Waaagh Ghazghkull player units start the game in reserve. Okay, interesting. And I go first. That's cool. So first turn will be interesting. And then at the end of the game, the player who scored the most victory points wins the game. Victory points are, there's just 3 objectives, each worth up to 3 at the end. First blood, say the warlord. If Naz drags Stompa, so there's a Stompa as well. Yes, Nazdrag is the opponent, and he Nazdrag has a Stompa. Oh, okay, and you have to have a Stompa as well. And to play this mission, you also need a copy of Planet Strike rules. So this is going to be a complicated mission. If the Stompa is destroyed, the enemy player scores 5 victory points for achieving the secondary objective. And it's Planet Strike and teleports testing. Cool! Oh, there's another one. Sorry, there's actually more. Let's keep going. I thought there were only 3, but there's 5. Next one's called the Third War for Armageddon. The Battle of Gatana Bay. It's Hammer and Anvil. And the Waaagh Ghazghkull player must include a Dread Mob formation. The enemy player must include a minimum of 5 walkers in their primary detachment. So these are really complicated battles. However, any walkers selected by either player do not use up any slots on their detachment's force organization chart. Cool. Furthermore, instead of taking an allied detachment, the enemy player can instead include any walkers in any combination from whichever 2 factions he didn't choose for his warlord. Cool. Deployment's normal. First, it's Hammer and Anvil. Prime objectives in the game, each player receives 1 victory point for each enemy unit is being completely destroyed. Every time you completely destroy an enemy walker with 3 or 4 hull points on its profile, you instead score 2. Every time you completely destroy an enemy walker with 5 or more hull points on its profile, you instead score 3 points. And there's a rule called Dead Aces. All walkers gain the character unit type, and one of your walkers can be nominated as your warlord. Cool. Furthermore, each time one of the walkers completely destroys an enemy walker in a challenge, roll on the table below to discover what perk or special rule your walker gains. 1 is counterattack, 2 is +1 attack, 3 is +1 weapon skill, ballistic skill. Controller player's choice, so one or the other. 4 is preferred enemy, 5 is armor bane, 6 is tank hunters. Pretty interesting. Again, these are great ideas for a campaign. And finally, Echoes of the War, Green Beast, and the Leviathan. Designers note, this scenario offers something of a change of pace for Orc players. Normally, the aggressors, the green screens, must instead hold their ground against an invading horde of Tyranids. How the tables have turned. That'd be an interesting idea for a campaign. So it's Tyranids versus Orcs. And there's 3 objectives: normal, dawn war deployment, and Endless Horde is in effect. So yeah, so I mentioned the Endless Horde. So the Termagants and Hormagaunts or Gargoyles completely destroyed, remove them from play, put them in ongoing reserves. Queen Beast, the enemy warlord, has the It Will Not Die and Rampage special rules. Furthermore, the warlord's Terror from the Deep attacks have the Instant Death special rule. And Teleporter reinforcements. All non-flyer units with the Orcs faction in the Waaagh Ghazghkull players' army begin the game in reserve, gain Deep Strike rule, must deploy via Deep Strike to turn they reserve. So awesome stuff there. Again, great ideas for some interesting scenarios with your friends. Cool stuff. So those are the formations. I think they're good. Most of them have interesting bonuses. The key is just to buy all the models, in a sense, but for an Apocalypse game, they'd be fun. And the scenarios, good stuff there. Again, there'll be a lot of fun. Some of them you have to know, like Planet Strike rules, but they're okay there. And yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for watching this part 2. It wasn't really much of a review. I just more of a, I guess I reviewed them, but I talked about them a little bit. Just going over the formations and went over the new scenarios. So thank you so much. Please like the video, comment in the comment section down below of what you feel about this book. I really like it. I think it'll be cool combined with the Ork Codex. And stay tuned for more reviews. Till next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting, everyone.